So can you just tell me your name and what you do?
Oh, I'm Carena Sharpley. I volunteer at the Barton and Tredworth Memory Café.
Thank you. And can you tell us about the Barton and Tredworth Memory Cafe and how you have worked with them?
Right, I've been a volunteer for quite a few years now. It was set up by my colleague Carol Sterling. When it first started, I am come across a lot of Chinese people with the dementia problem. So I thought, no, Carol. And then I think a year later, I thought, I'm coming across quite a few of my community having dementia. I need to know more about it. So I went on a course, and after I'd done the course, I thought, okay, I need to do practical stuff now. So then was engaging with the Chinese people. That's it, bring the carers, bring your loved ones, do some interaction at the Barton and Tredworth Memory Cafe. We do activities, we do music, and goes with the flow of the group, whatever they want to do. So we're not very, where we do not say you have to have a diagnosis. We say if you're worried about memory, you have a diagnosis, come along, bring your carer. Yeah, and literally it's a little bit of a social get together, but it's the interaction as well that keeps their brains still going, and they need that interaction. And also for the carers to be with somebody else and to be able to talk about other things. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So it's a really interesting story about how you worked with this group and started to integrate physical activity into what they do. Can you just talk or share the story around how that started?
So we had COVID. I'm sorry, we've got to go back about COVID again. But we had COVID, and during COVID time, we were still talking and chatting. So the groups were split up to our volunteers. So each of our volunteers was contacting our group members, just chatting to them, their loved ones, if they can, or most importantly, carers, because we found that carers needed that support to carry on. We delivered an afternoon tea when it was snowing. The only day it was snowing, we delivered afternoon tea. And then when we're just coming out of lockdown and how the government felt that everybody's mental health was being affected, I have observed that our members were getting, even myself, we're starting to lose words because we're not having conversation, we're not having interactions with people, with different people. So as soon as the government said we can now meet and do physical activities, I chatted with GR1, because I actually went back then to GR1 because I needed to go and do something. And I chatted to Helen at GR1 and said, can we do something here? Can we use the ladies' fitness gym? Because of the memory, I personally thought it'd be easier for our members with dementia to sit on the chair to do the exercise that the chair's already doing it. So you got the movement to the side, forward, your arms, your legs, there's rowing as well, and there's a treadmill there as well. And Helen said, yes, we could do this. So Active Gloucestershire very kindly gave us some money, and we started with just 6. We did it every week, 6 one week, 6 next week, because that's what the law said we had to do. To see our members coming in, first of all, I'm thinking, why are you using a walking stick? Why are you using a walking frame? Because they haven't been out for so long, they've lost some muscle and they've lost some strength, they've lost confidence as well. So by them coming each week with their loved ones, we actually saw the improvement, and it's great encouragement for me and for their loved ones, and that's why they come every week, because they can see the improvements. And the other thing was, it was an opportunity for them all to have a little chat. Helen would put the right music on, because she said, what year music would that be? So we put the music on. And, while they are doing the exercise, going from one station to another, there's a little bit of jigging along, and swaying, and it was wonderful. And our group are made up of Caribbean people, Chinese people, Asian people. So we're in the Barton area. And to some of them, music's very important. And with dementia, the music side is still there. They remember it. So the music was lovely to see them doing the exercise. And it was just a joy to see.
Brilliant. I love hearing those stories. Can you talk us a little bit about some of the impact and benefits you saw on the participants or their loved ones or even the staff at GL1, how the project supported them?
Yeah. So let's go to GL1 first. Helen knew about dementia. The other instructor didn't, so she said do this, do that, do the other. So it was then educating her to say, no, you can't just say do this, do that, do the other, just one instruction at a time. And some of them may not actually understand when you say sit down, they may not remember which way it's like the rowing. So somebody says sit down, he sat down the wrong way around. So there's extra attention needed. And eventually seeing this lovely instructor learn changing the way she speaks to each of the clients members. It was lovely, it was really nice, and she was learning it. Helen went and did a course and she's still doing it, and quite an intensive course. So I think it's brilliant. And you did give some money to the GL1 members to use dementia aware. So hopefully that will be done. With the members, as I said before, to be able to see a gentleman who was walking with a walking stick, which he didn't have before, and gradually gaining his confidence. And we actually saw him on a treadmill. He had always been to the gym, and he's got dementia, quite, I would say, medium to advanced. And it was lovely, and I think his wife was a pleasure to see in his wife's satisfaction in her face that, oh, there's my husband there again. So by the time we finished, he was a lot more confident. He was walking without his walking stick. Another lady who came with, she's always walked with a walker, but she has gained some weight during the lockdown, and her gait was not quite right. I'm not a professional, but I know that wasn't quite right, and she was enjoying it, and she actually signed up to be a member at GL1, and she did extra classes as well, which was great, and that was brilliant. She lost weight as well, and she walked better. And one of our volunteer, I didn't know, she was having difficulty going up and down the stairs. And by her coming volunteering, she was also taking part in any of the stations that was empty. She would use them. And she said to me, I think about a year later, I can go up and down the stairs now. I didn't even know she couldn't. And she could bend over and sort her shoelaces out, which was, not just affect, it gave benefit to our members, to our volunteers as well. So, it's very encouraging as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, wonderful impact. Thank you for sharing that. Finally then, just to, I guess, sum up, there'll be people in this session today who aren't from physical activity backgrounds or working with people that aren't physically active. What tips or what key elements of this project would be useful for them to be aware, to say, actually, these are the types of things to think about when you're trying to encourage people to be physically active if physical activity isn't their thing?
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky in a sense that the group had met before and we kept in touch during COVID, and their loved ones, their carers, wanted to see the person they care for to be physically better. Mentally, and the brain cell was still dying, unfortunately, but to be able to at least still be able to walk, go to the toilet, squat, sit up, that sort of thing. They saw the improvement, so they wanted that to happen. That helped. And because we were already meeting or in contact with them, they thought it was a brilliant idea to do it. The other thing was, because of the lockdown, they missed that conversation with people, to be out and then socialise with people. They miss all that. Because the other thing I forgot to tell you is when we finish at the exercise, we go downstairs to the cafe and we'll sit and have coffee. Still 6. And then as it eased, then the whole group and all turn out, and it was just lovely that there was lots of conversation going on and just lots of interaction, not just for the person with memory problem, but for the carers to have a normal conversation and also share their experience with each other. This is what's going on, and they're not on their own. There are other people like them, and there's support between each other as well. So yeah. So what other can I say? I don't know. What do you think?
When we were speaking just a minute ago, you were saying about the partnership and utilising local assets like GL1.
Yeah. So GL1 was brilliant. Helen was absolutely brilliant, and she knows the importance of exercise. And because where we met, we couldn't meet; it was shut. So I thought, well, what can I do? And GL wants to open up, so I spoke to Helen, and Helen said, yes, use our space. So as I said, we just needed the money to pay for the instructor in the space, the rental of the ladies' fitness, and that worked. And you don't have to have the physical fitness. You could go a walk, because I know before some years back, Fair Shares in Stroud, they do a memory walk. So they go to Stratford Park and take people out for a walk, and just walk, smell the leaves, the flowers, the scent in the air, because all those will then evoke some sort of memory in your head as well. So just going out for a walk, it's nicer to go out with a group of you, because you got that chatter and companionship. So you don't have to be actually going to the gym, just that sort of a nice stroll. It's good.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Carena.
You're welcome.